All right, so now we're going to talk about accommodating resistance and bands and how to properly set up your bands. So we have two common setups for bands. We have doubled over, and then we also have a choked or single band. So we're going to go over how to set each of those up, and I'm going to start with the double band. So we're going to take a band, drape it underneath our band peg. What we want to look for is the band peg is set up where I'm going to squat, so that that bar path is going to be as vertical as possible. So when we got half of the band over there, I have two strands in my hand. Pick that up, drape it over the barbell, and then this will be doubled over. So this is going to have resistance the whole way through the range of motion, which is what we want. We don't want the band to go slack at all. This will be much higher than our single band, which we'll show next. So in a single band, we can use potentially heavier bands because the tension is going to be a little bit less. So this one, we have either a second band peg, or we can choke it across the power rack here. I'm going to show it with the band pegs. So we're going to put the band on one end, the further one, choke it underneath our primary peg here, and drape one end over the bar. This still will have constant tension through the whole range of motion, which is what we want. Some improper setups would be if this went slack down here towards the bottom, both in the doubled or in the singled. It's pretty difficult to do that with the doubled, but pretty common to see with the singled. If you're running into that, you're going to have to choke this a little bit more down below. Either loop that underneath or figure out a way where we can block that off and have tension through the whole range of motion. And that's how you set up bands. All right, so in conclusion, with accommodating resistance, a few things that we want to remember. We always want to put our band setup or our chain setup first on both sides. And that way we can know that they're even. So if you're measuring one side, make sure you measure the opposite as well. Sometimes with the lifespan of bands, they will be uneven on time. So you want to make sure that you have even bands, even tension, or even weights on both sides. That'll help minimize the risk of injury and minimize any kind of instability of having uneven weight or unwanted rotation. All right, and lastly, with the bands, the weight that we measured, that is only per one side. So if we look at our double banded, it was 45 pounds. If we have an equal band on the opposite side, that is going to be 90 total pounds that we're going to add to the bar weight. So keep that in mind when you're doing your measurements, taking your measurements, is the weight is per band. The same thing goes with the chains. So if we have a 22-pound chain on one side, we better have a 22-pound chain on the other side. So we'd add that together with 44 total pounds that we have added to the bar weight.